Hi, I'm Tyler Keefe from Civic Center TV, welcoming you to a very special presentation of the 7th Annual Heroes Appreciation Breakfast live at West Bloomfield Middle School. We're just about to get started with the presentation as our community recognizes our veterans for Veterans Day in 2024. Let's head to the main stage and get the show started.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies, to the ocean, white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home. My home, my home. God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans, white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
Good morning again. Let us start with a few rounds of thank yous. It is only fitting for this meaningful morning. So thank you to our amazing hosts, West Bloomfield Schools. This is such a beautiful space to celebrate our local heroes. This event would not be possible without the support of our businesses from our community, many of which who are here today. I'd like to thank our presenting sponsor, Senior Benefits Plus, as well as our supporting sponsors. Angela Hospice, the Avalon Senior Living, Henry Ford Health, Maria Otterman of Brookstone Realtors, Comfort Care, Michigan Schools and Government Credit Union, Dedicated Senior Medical, Home Instead, Jewish Senior Life, Motown Digital, Rose Senior Living, Vibe Credit Union, West Bloomfield Optimist Club, and West Bloomfield Police Foundation. Thank you to Civic Center TV, they're staged over there, for bringing this wonderful program into people's homes this morning to celebrate our veterans, and the Greater West Bloomfield Historical Society for sharing their historic artifacts with us today. And if you haven't been back to the West Bloomfield Historical Society table, it's back there. Go see it before you leave today. It's wonderful. Thank you for some of our dignitaries who are here today to show us their support. West Bloomfield School Board, Carol Finkelstein. West Bloomfield School Superintendent, Danya Bazzi. West Bloomfield Township Supervisor, Steve Kaplan. West Bloomfield Parks Commissioner, John Eric. And West Bloomfield Library Board, Carol Kravitz. And finally, to all of our veterans joining us this morning, thank you for letting us serve you today. We salute you. To get us started, to lead us through our program this morning, please help me welcome to the stage today's Master of Ceremony, Thais Leverett.
Thank you, Kelly. And thank you all for being here today. Before we get started with the ceremony, we'll begin with a blessing for all of our veterans in the room. So thank you for joining us today, Reverend Monica Williams.
Good morning. It's an honor to be with all of you this morning and to have this opportunity to bring our blessing for the day. I invite you to join together with me in an attitude of prayer so that we might invite God's blessing on this time. Holy God, you are called by many names in many languages and traditions. But we come today as one people to give thanks for the gifts you give and those who generously give of themselves in service to our country and their neighbor. There are many things that divide us one from another: our beliefs, our heritage, our experiences, so much more. But in this place, we are one people, one in heart and mind, in gratitude for those who have honorably served the greater good and this nation which includes us all. We thank you for this opportunity for us to gather as a community so that we can honor our veterans who have faithfully served our nation. We give thanks for all that they have given for us, for their hard work and sleepless nights that have allowed us to sleep well, for their time and dedication that has contributed to the strength of our nation, for their sacrifices, placing their bodies and minds in service to country, being willing to suffer and sacrifice in order that others might be safe, and for their families who have walked alongside of them, bended their lives to support service to country and endure the absence for love of their country. May we honor them all not only in word, but also in how we think, act, and serve. May we honor one another as we gather around this common purpose today. We pray especially for those who have been wounded in their service, wounds both seen and unseen, in body, mind, and spirit, that have brought suffering for them and their loved ones. We pray for you to give them strength and courage even now, and for the rest of us to remember and honor those sacrifices, to care for them as dutifully and sacrificially as they have cared for us, and never to forget their honorable service. Help us use this time well then, dear God. May our time together fill us with gratitude for our veterans and service personnel still on active duty today. We pray for their safety and safe returns home. And may we honor the sacred trust of democracy this coming election day with our thoughtful votes for those who will oversee our republic. May our elected leaders serve us all in the same spirit of care for our nation as our military veterans have done. And so we ask now, Great Spirit, that you would bless this time and the food that has been prepared for us today, that both would fill us and strengthen us to serve to bring us together as one community under God that endlessly struggles for liberty and justice for all. Amen.
Thank you for that, Reverend Williams. And ladies and gentlemen, once again, I'll add to the good morning and welcome to this year's Heroes Appreciation Breakfast. We gather here today to share a meal in our most profound respect and gratitude for the men and women who have served our great nation. We'll begin our ceremony today with a presentation of colors by the West Bloomfield Police Department's Honor Guard, the Pledge of Allegiance, and the National Anthem. At this time, I'd like to invite Kim West of Senior Benefits Plus to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, which will follow the presentation from the Honor Guard.
Good morning, everybody. I am truly honored. This is my second year doing this. It's just a beautiful way to start my day, and thank you to all of you for your service. So if we can all say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hail at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Forward, march.
You may be seated. Before we continue, I'd like to take a moment to share why this event holds deep meaning personally for me. I come from a family rooted in service. I stand before you not only as the host today, but the granddaughter, daughter, sister, niece, friend, and cousin of veterans. My grandfathers both served during a time where the color of their skin limited where they could serve, yet they did so with unwavering pride. My father, a Vietnam Army veteran, returned home to a country that wasn't ready to honor his service, and he carried those experiences with him, a reminder that not all service is seen or celebrated equally. My brother, an Air Force veteran, later found himself on the front lines again, not overseas, but here at home, where he was a first responder on 9/11. These are just a few chapters from my family story, but they reflect what so many veterans and their families experience. And I believe that that's service that extends beyond the battlefield and sacrifices that transcend generations. It is a powerful reminder that while uniforms might come off, the call to serve does not. That is why today is more than just a ceremony to me. It's a tribute not only to those who wore the uniform, but also to their families and their loved ones who stood behind them. It's a reminder that service in its many forms shapes who we are as individuals, as communities, and as a nation. So again, it is an honor to stand here today to thank each of you for your service, for your courage, and your enduring commitment. This event is our way of showing that we see you, we honor you, and we will never forget the sacrifices you have made. Today, we extend our heartfelt thanks to the brave individuals from all branches of the armed services. To the Army, who stands as the backbone of our defense, defending us on land. To the Navy, who secures our freedom across the world's oceans. To the Air Force, protectors of the skies, who provide us with the wings to soar above adversity. And to the Marines, our rapid response force, always the first to confront challenges head on. And of course, to the Coast Guard, who safeguard our waters and protect our shores. And let's not forget about the Space Force, joining the military family in 2019, because apparently air, land, and sea were not enough, folks. Now we're defending space. So here's to the brave guardians out there making sure Earth does not get any surprise visitors from our neighbors. So each branch unique in their mission, but united in purpose, all serving to defend the liberties that we all hold dear. We would be remiss if we did not also extend our deepest gratitude to the family members and spouses who have been the pillars of strength and support for each of you in the room. Your sacrifices, often made in silence, have maintained home while your soldiers and loved ones were away. And for those who have cared for injured soldiers upon their return, your love and support has been the unsung anthem of resilience and recovery. Your service has protected our freedoms and served as a beacon of courage and commitment. You have shown us that the call to serve is not just a momentary act, but a lifelong dedication to the values that make this country great. Today, we are not merely attendees at a breakfast. We are witnesses to heroism, to sacrifices that often go unnoticed, and to a level of commitment that transcends these words. We are here to thank you and to reaffirm our commitment to live by the principles that you all have fought for. So let us not just express our gratitude in words, but let us commit to actions that reflect the values you have upheld. Let this gathering serve as a reminder that our work is not done, and that each of us has a role to play in serving our community, our nation, and most importantly, serving each other. Next, I would like to introduce a student-led video project to help share some of our local hero stories. Matt Columbus of West Bloomfield High School interviewed 3 local veterans, and the clips were edited by the wonderful Civic Center TV's Calvin Brown, and we'll be sharing a short synopsis with you in just a moment. Thank you.
Back in those days, when you graduated from high school, everybody signed up for what they call the selective service. Nothing was really happening in the graduated high school in 1960. Those of us who went on to college, just went on to college. While I was in college, you guys might remember Vietnam, or have heard of Vietnam. The things in Vietnam started heating up, and they came out with what they called Berry Plan, and which basically was they asked you if you wanted to be deferred from the draft. Most of us signed up for that. And if there was nothing going on, then you didn't have to worry about going in. But that gave you the privilege of completing your education before you went into the service. I graduated college in 1964, and I decided to go on to medical school. And towards the end of medical school, there was a war in Vietnam. And with any war, we needed physicians. So I did exactly volunteer. But because you're a physician, they're not allowed to draft doctors because they're officers. They go in as officers. So you have to volunteer. So they give you a choice. If you don't volunteer as a physician, they'll draft you as a private.
Yes, I was a 94 Bravo. I was a cook. I was a food service specialist, a cook in a medic battalion, Fort Carson, Colorado, 204th Support Medic Battalion. So I did that garrison cook and field cook type stuff. I think it made me grow into more of a person. I mean, I came right out of high school when I left for the Army. I think it matured me and I became more disciplined, because the drill sergeant's always down, always saying, do this, do that, do this, do that. So it was just like a set thing in your mind that you keep going. And plus I had a family, starting in the Army. So it was like, it's a different thing because, once you have a child or, you have responsibility. The responsibilities I had in the Army were pretty great.
I'm 83 years old, and I immigrated with very little English. So in order to learn English, I joined the Army in 1961. Went to basic training in Fort Knox, and after advanced training, I was sent to Hawaii. I was asked by the recruiter where I wanted to go. Since I spoke German, initially I thought I should go to Germany because then I can play the rich American and also party with the Germans. But out of the blue, I asked, how about Hawaii? I wanted to see something exciting. Exotic. And the recruiter said, well, Hawaii is hard to get it, but I'll get it for you. So what was good about being in Hawaii was that there was hardly anything to do except go to the beach and surf it. What we then did in 1963, we were shipped to Thailand. So we went to these little villages and the dirt roads and roads made for water buffaloes. We were the reconnaissance squadron, 4th Cavalry. We wore cavalry yellow ribbons, and we didn't ride horses, we rode tanks. And they were called the Jungle Division, the Tropic Lightning. So we came back and we found out that our mission was to report on whether tanks could be used in this kind of country, which later on was used in the Vietnam War as information that you had to be careful taking tanks over it. I'm glad we immigrated, and I consider myself very lucky, and I owe it really to the Army, my Army service.
What an exceptional piece to capture our local heroes. Once again, and we can't say this enough this morning, thank you all for your service, your sacrifice, and for being the heroes that you are. Additionally, often in our thoughts today and beyond today are thanking those who sacrificed and could not be here at this breakfast this morning. So to help us honor those not with us today, I'd like to welcome to the stage Tony and Patty Soma, both advocates for prisoners of war.
Good morning. Thank you, West Bloomfield, for inviting us once again to this wonderful event. It's an honor to be here.
To our veterans, thank you for your service. We are Tony and Patty Soma, representing the POW MIA Committee of Michigan and our family.
Now, I don't know what the #1 song in Detroit is today, but the #1 song on October 1st, 1965 was Hang On Floopy by the McCoys. Also, Motown music filled the airwaves and was the background of most of our lives.
For my cousin in North Vietnam, Martin Masucci, his background noise was the whir of helicopter blades, the roar of jet engines, and the sound of distant bombs. Marty was an Air Force pilot. On October 1st, 1965, he was the backseater in a Phantom F-4C that was hit by enemy fire and went down near Suong Mountain, north of Hanoi in Vietnam. He parachuted out and was never recovered. Other planes in the area watched the parachute hit the ground and then saw the plane hit the side of the mountain. Since that day, my family, as well as many others, still wait for news of their loved ones. We still wear the bracelet and attend events such as this. We tell younger generations so the missing are not forgotten.
All Americans should never forget the brave men and women who answered our nation's call and served the cause of freedom in a very special way.
You may have noticed this special table reserved to honor our missing servicemen and women. If you are not familiar with this table, let us explain the meaning.
It's set for one. The empty chair represents the Americans who were or are missing from each of the services. The Army, the Marines, the Navy, the Air Force, the Coast Guard, the Space Force, and civilians who join us today in spirit. The table shows our everlasting concern. It can be round or square. The cloth is white. It symbolizes the purity of their motives when they answered the call to serve. A single red rose reminds us of the lives of these Americans and their loved ones, like us, and friends who keep the faith while seeking answers. A yellow ribbon symbolizes our continued uncertainty, hope for their return, and our determination to account for them. A slice of lemon reminds us of bitter fate. They're captured and missing in a foreign land. A pinch of salt symbolizes tears of our missing and the families who long for answers after decades of uncertainty. A candle reflects our hope for their return, alive or dead. A Bible represents the strength gained through faith to sustain us and those lost from our country as we are founded as one nation under God. There is an inverted glass to symbolize their inability to share a toast, and the chair is empty because they're missing.
Now, please raise your glass in a toast to honor America's POW MIAs, to the success of our efforts to account for them, and to the safety of all now serving our nation.
As we approach our holiday season, please remember those who will not be with their loved ones, whether they are serving to protect our freedom or they are those that have not come home yet. At holiday dinners, raise a glass to them and think of all the families who still keep an empty place at the table and keep the faith. Tell your children and your grandchildren and keep the faith alive. Tell teachers this is an important part of our history. These are real people from real families, not statistics from a video game. And veterans, don't forget to check in with your Veterans Service Officer regularly for updates. They're there to help.
Never forget, never give up.
Thank you.
Thank you so much again, Tony and Patty, for sharing your story with us and for being with us today. Next, we'd like to welcome to the stage our Heroes Appreciation keynote speaker for this morning, Colonel Anthony Dennis of the Michigan Army National Guard.
Morning. Brought my phone up with me in case I missed a political phone call or something like that. I want to make sure I had it with me. No, I was writing my speech and decided to try to print it out, and my printer decided to die on me. So I'm gonna try and do one of these technology things, and hopefully I don't mess it up too bad. So they asked me to do this. What an honor to be here, for one thing. They asked me to do this about a month ago to honor our veterans, our heroes, and honestly, they had me hooked at breakfast. So I was like, I'm in for sure. If you're gonna give the best French toast too, those are so good. But honestly, seriously, what an honor to be here. I want to thank service members and our veterans and our families and our guests that are here today, and then also I want to specifically thank the first responders we have here also. So, yes. You guys are probably more heroes than any of us. Have to deal with this every day. Deal with us public folk every day. Thank you, West Bloomfield Township and West Bloomfield Parks Department, for the invite to speak here. It's truly an honor, like I said, to be here with this community this morning and pay tribute to our veterans. I am not a part of this community, although I wish I was, because I see the strength and the honor of how you treat your veterans, and it would be just an awesome to be part of this community. So thank you, West Bloomfield, for this opportunity. Tony and Patty, thank you very much for the Missing Man address. It was outstanding, great, and thank you for what all you do for our service members. And then Pastor Monica, thanks for being my battle buddy up there this morning. Appreciate it. Before I get started, I want to thank all of our veterans here today, and if we can just give them a round of applause, I'd appreciate it. So I joined the Army over 35 years ago. I still serve. I was talking to one of our veterans down here this morning, and I said I haven't figured out that whole retirement thing yet. I don't really know what I want to do when I grow up, so I still wear the uniform. I'm still an infantry officer. Even at 54, I can still run around with the young kids and crush their souls, to be honest with you, because it doesn't seem like they're as strong as what I used to be when I was that young. But maybe I was just like that also, too. But yeah, I joined over 35 years ago. It was 1989 when I joined. I was actually attending Eastern Michigan University and struggling to find my purpose. I spent my college savings in my first year and a half at Eastern with really nothing to show for it other than being on the academic at-risk list. My call to service in 1989 was due in part to my terrible start at Eastern Michigan University, but it was truly sparked when I was younger in my youth while being around veterans. My grandfather and my stepfather both served in the Marines. Where's my Marine brethrens out there? Hoorah. See, I am Army, but I do wear my Marine patch. I deployed and served with 2nd Mart Div, and that was it was a long year and a half that I had to serve with those guys, but they're awesome. Anyway, so let me get back to this. My grandfather, stepfather, both in the Marines. They served in World War II and Vietnam, respectively. They didn't talk too much about their service, but they were both very well respected in their in the local VFW and the American Legion. I spent many days and evenings at those two establishments, the VFW and American Legion, and listened to countless war stories from our greatest generation and our forgotten generation. I would reenact those stories while playing in my backyard and on the school playgrounds with my friends. I led a platoon of 9 to 11-year-olds. I led a platoon of 9 to 11-year-olds on recons and movement to contacts in our imaginary battlegrounds. And when the winter came, we would construct the most impenetrable defense in the snow-plowed parking lots. I think my parents always knew that I was going to serve, but they never pushed me to it. I finally figured it out after that second year of college, but at that point I still really wasn't fully committed. I decided to join the Army National Guard, thinking that I would still be able to go to my secondary education, use those benefits to get me through school, and then have a few extra dollars from our drill weekends, to be able to buy some pizza and beer. Little did I know at that time that I would return from basic training, and approximately 3 months later, I would be on a C-17 headed to Saudi Arabia to join a coalition of forces to stop the tyranny of Saddam Hussein and his invasion into Kuwait. I returned after that short deployment, and it was a short one, if you all remember that one, rejuvenated in life. I was ready to get back into school. I was ready to join my community again, ready to get back with my friends and my family. But I knew then, as I still do know now, that this National Guard thing was actually kind of one of those, one of the best things in both of those worlds. So my commitment to want to serve and be in the Army or be in service to my nation, and then I still had a good connection to my family and my community because I was still there in that community with them. So I really quickly realized that this was it. This was the calling that I wanted to do. So when we returned from Desert Storm, we actually came back from Fort Knox on buses. So we drove back to Michigan. When we crossed the state line, we had a column of state police vehicles that pulled alongside of us with the red lights flashing. And they escorted us all the way back to our armory in Owasso. As we drove into Owasso, the streets were filled, absolutely filled with people clapping, cheering, waving flags. This was like this was a homecoming truly to remember. In my mind, I envisioned the New York ticker tape parades, and this was probably as close as you could get to it in that little small town of Owasso. Definitely a homecoming to remember. But as we went through the town, it was kind of funny because the bus drivers let us pop the top on the commercial buses, and we could actually ride up on top of the buses. You'd never see that happen today. But as we were driving downtown, and I would look at everybody's faces as I'm driving through, or as we were riding through there, and everybody was happy and everything. But then there was these select few that were crying, tears, absolute tears. I soon realized that those crying faces were our Vietnam veterans. And they weren't sad. They were just overcome with emotion of our return. And much to like us on the bus, they were blown away by the community support, the community that came out and to support our homecoming. They never received this when they came home. And from that day on, I've always tried to get out and shake every single veteran that if I notice they're a veteran, I'll get out and shake their hand and say thank you and welcome home. And then specifically Vietnam veterans. So those Vietnam veterans that are in the audience today, thank you. Thank you for your service and welcome home. It is so important to take the time to honor and reflect the service and sacrifice of our service members, our veterans, and their families. It doesn't matter what branch you're in, what branch of service you're in, or how many days, or how many months, or how many years you were in. Everyone that raises their right hand and swears an oath to defend our Constitution deserves that recognition. The Army uses a slogan, "Soldier for Life." I don't know if you've heard of it, but it's they came up with it probably about 10, 15 years ago. Soldier for Life. But since I'm in the National Guard, in the Michigan National Guard in particular, where we have Army and Air members, airmen and soldiers, around 10,000 at any given time, I like to use the term "Soldier for Life." I'm sorry, service member forever. Jeez, oh Pete, sorry. Service member forever. Just because of that fact that we're both Army and Air and mixed in. Currently, we have about 550 soldiers and airmen that are deployed around the world, and here in the nation, which we just that does include our recent deployments down to the Carolinas and Florida. So we did send about 100 folks, 100 Army and Air folks down there for those hurricane response. Additionally, as part of the Michigan, actually as it being in the Michigan National Guard, we're part of the Michigan Department of Veterans Affairs. So that includes a couple other, we'll call them branches, of not just Army and Air, but also the Military Veterans Affairs Agency, the Military Veterans Homes, and the Michigan Youth Challenge Academy and Job Challenge Academy. I'm just going to give you a few examples of what they do because it's bigger than just the Army and Air. So the Michigan Veteran Affairs Agency, MVAA, they provide support and outreach to our active service members, so National Guard and any active duty personnel in Michigan, our veterans and our retirees and their families throughout the state of Michigan. And they also connect those service members and their families and retirees to those earned benefits that they've and resources that they've earned. And then the MVA is in direct coordination with those VSOs, those veteran service organizations, to provide training and assistance to help our veterans and our soldiers and our airmen throughout the community, so into the local communities. And then moving to our veterans' homes, the Michigan Veteran Homes, they actually provide. They have 3 skilled nursing care centers in Michigan, Grand Rapids, Marquette, and then one just down the street here in Chesterfield Township. And so they, like I said, they provide that skilled nursing care in those three facilities. And then lastly, our Michigan Youth Challenge Academy and Michigan Job Challenge Academy. That's a National Guard program for at-risk youths that are in between 15 and 18 years of age, and they are provided a chance to complete their high school diploma, and then actually realize that they can make some positive life changes in their life at an early age before something dramatic happens to them. So it's a really good program for those youths that qualify for that. So that's why I like to use that term, service member forever, because there's a connection no matter where in life You know, whether you're a son or a daughter of a veteran, service member, or a spouse, or a retiree in later stages of life, you're all still part of our great team. In closing, events like this are crucial to continuing events like this are crucial to continuing to raise awareness throughout the community for our veterans and recognize the service and sacrifice that they have given for our community and our state and our nation. So please help me in recognizing those veterans and thanking them for a job well done. I very much appreciate it. So 9 days from now, we will honor our veterans again with Veterans Day. November 11th, as you all know, that's our day to recognize and symbolize the end of World War I on the 11th hour, the 11th day, the 11th month of 1918. So please remember and always remember. And a final thank you for those in attendance, the members of the West Bloomfield Township's Parks. Thanks for the invitation here, and thanks for the breakfast. Appreciate it. And lastly, they all ran off, but I wanted to thank these guys because they're pretty awesome. It was a really good rendition of our national anthem. So again, thank you. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and thanks so much for having me here to speak. Thank you.
Thank you again, Colonel Dennis, for sharing your experience and your words, and of course, for all that you do to serve the heroes year-round. Again, we thank and appreciate you. And we'll bring Kelly back up to the stage for a few words.
As you can pick up on the theme, today's event is a true community collaboration. Many months of planning go into this event and hands working together to make it all happen. I'd like to thank our event planning committee and the organizations that support this endeavor. Thank you again to West Bloomfield Schools, West Bloomfield Library, West Bloomfield Township, and the rest of my team at West Bloomfield Parks for all of your contributions to this celebration. I would like to also recognize another dignitary in the audience. He snuck in without me seeing him, State Representative Noah Arbit. And thank you to our 25 and more than 25 volunteers that are here today who stepped up to help serve. And within those servers, I did see Terry Weingarten, Township Treasurer, as well as Deborah Evans from West Bloomfield Schools. So thank you both for being here. And with that, we'd like to welcome the Harmony Town Chorus back. They took a little break to have some breakfast, so here they come. They're going to close out this event with the Armed Forces Melody, one of our favorites.
And as they join us on stage to send us off appropriately, we need to give away the beautiful centerpieces that you all see on your tables. So we need a little teamwork here. Each centerpiece should go to the service member at the table with the enlistment date closest to Veterans Day. So have that discussion at your table to see who will take home those beautiful flowers, and we'll figure out who the lucky winners are as the town chorus gets settled back. So once again, I'll second and third everybody's final comments. Today has been a very meaningful time of connection and reflection. Thank you, West Bloomfield, for joining us today, and of course, thank you to veterans and the families. And please, as you're leaving, don't forget to take your bag and a photo if you have the opportunity to do so. So thank you, have a wonderful rest of your day, and a wonderful Veterans Day as well. Thank you.
When you hear your branch, please stand and be recognized.
From the rising rising of the sun, till the battle's fought and won. We will fight for the right and defend our country. We're always ready for the call. We place our trust in thee. Through surf and storm and howling gale, high shall our purpose be. Semper Paratus is our guide, our pledge, our motto too. We're always ready to or die. Our Coast Guard, we fight for you. From the halls of Montezuma to the shores of Tripoli, we will fight our country's battle in the air, on land and sea. First to fight for right and freedom, and to keep our honor clean. We are proud to claim the title of the United States Marines. Ba-da-da-da-da. Anchors away, my boys, anchors away. Farewell to college joys, we sail at break of day. Through our last night on shore, drink to the foam, until we meet once more. Here's wishing you a happy voyage home. First to fight for the right and to build the nation proud, and the army goes rolling along, rolls along, proud of all we have done, and until the battle's won. And the army goes rolling along, and it's hi, hi, hey, the army's on its way. Count off the cadence, round and strong, 2, 3, 4, wherever we go, you will always know that the army goes rolling along. Off we go into the wild blue yonder, climbing high into the sun. Here they come, and we meet our thunder, and the boys give her the gun, give her the gun. Down we dive, swatting the flame from under, off with one hell of a roar. We live in flames, we'll go down in flames, and nothing will stop the U.S. Air Force. Oh, beautiful for patriotry, defended through the years. Thy sons and daughters sworn to thee, protecting us from fear. America, 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 God shed his grace on thee, and bless the ones who serve her well, at home, abroad, on land, in air, at sea. Armed forces, armed forces, armed forces, America.
We thank you for tuning in to this special presentation of the 7th Annual Heroes Appreciation Breakfast live from West Bloomfield Middle School on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. We invite you to continue tuning in to all of our programming on demand on civiccentertv.com, and of course encourage you to thank a veteran for their service as we recognize Veterans Day. For Civic Center TV, I'm Tyler Kieft. Thanks for tuning in.